The little spa town of Yakimov, just in the old centre part of the town. This is the Renaissance Town Hall from about 1551. This town's known for quite a few things actually. It's mainly known for mining, especially precious metals, the likes of radium and uranium. It's existed as a mining town for many centuries now. They use the radium radon for health purposes, benefits, as part of spa treatments. There's a large hotel just on the edge of town called the Radium Hotel, which utilises the radioactivity in smaller doses for health benefit reasons. Until the fortunes declined a bit. Let's look at this one. The front's completely faded, the facade, although some of the details at the tops remain quite well. Seen better days. The Gothic Renaissance periods, a lot of them. The town was actually home just after the war as well to a Soviet prison camp holding Czech and German prisoners of war. Labour camp forced to mine the uranium for the Soviet nuclear program. Apparently the conditions, as you can imagine, were just as appalling as many other of the Labour camp. Apparently the Labour camp was actually only closed by the Ministry of Defence in June of 1964, so that was quite some time after. One of the visitors to the town, due to the radioactive metals surrounding hills, was actually Marie Curie. She came here to conduct some research. It was majority Germans living here before the Second World War. Vast majority were expelled and properties confiscated under the Potsdam Agreement and Benesch decrees. Though a lot of the, as I say, Germans were kept in prisoner of war camps, and they had to apparently keep a lot of Germans on in order to keep the mines going, which the town relied on economically. Could make for a nice little tourist town, but seems to be concentrated down towards the bottom with the spa hotels, the radium hotel and such like. Here we go. This house dates back to 1520s. I wonder who owns it. Maybe the sort of local council owns it now. I suppose when bits are falling off, it reveals some of the older elements over time. When he remodelled, it's got the potential there. Obviously, I think at the turn of the century, late 19th century, early 20th century, radioactive metals like radium, such like, were used a lot in sort of like clock-like faces, because it would glow in the dark, like green colour, and in other things such as like toothpaste, strangely enough. So it was all the rage back then. People began to realise the dangers of the fact now, but obviously in the spa hotels, the benefits of it, smaller doses, short periods of time. Lovely Renaissance style building, oriel window there, 1536. There you go, gives a bit of information. Radon and dwelling. Radon trails brings information about radon and homes. God. Building's not properly insulated from the subsoil. Radon could be drawn in and concentrated inside the building. The inhabitants are exposed to elevated risk of lung cancer. Negative influence of radon on human health, proven with studies. It's maybe why some of the properties have been left how they are, because people have just left. Don't come to the realisation of the dangers. Known in this town for minting the thaler coins several centuries ago. It actually comes from the German name for the town, Joachimsthaler. Thaler is like the shorthand, obviously, and is where the Czech word dollar is derived from, like a kind of corruption of the word thaler. You get dollar, which obviously has entered the universal lexicon. This was the original Royal Mint next to the town hall, where it's more of a sort of fancy building in the town. And you got the plaque showing them minting the coins. Karlovy Mint Softener. Royal Mint House. Schlick family had been granted the right to mint in 1520. They founded the family mint in the house of Kunz Adult, where the famous Yakimov Tollards were minted. Coins minted here until 71. After 1528 the mint fell into hands of King Ferdinand I, became the Royal Mint. Smoke exhaust preserved in its original appearance. Two-section forge furnace from the 16th century pertaining to the mint operations. Well, that'd be interesting to see if we can get inside. Maybe candles are great lions. Yeah, I think it's uranium 235, if I remember correctly, is the one that's, you know, sought after for nuclear fission. This looks like it maybe one of the old kind of mining carts. Got all the rocks inside. Yeah, it's the whales underneath. Medvědí. Is that bear? Steska. Yeah, there's your bear. It looks so scary looking. Not sure where this leads exactly. I know there's a so-called mat house and a bit like the camp steps. Don't know where they are exactly then. Where the workers in the prisoners of war would have to go and collect the water from the hills, the wells in the hills, because they didn't have it in their own camp. Yeah, another part about the negative impacts of radium in the homes. Surprised there's anyone still living here. A good view down over the town. It still looks like it's used for something. Probably best not going sneaking around. That's what it used to look like. This Fornost Concord mine has been operating since 1530 and is one of the oldest mining complexes in Europe. It's also the last functioning mine in the Yakimov region. Originally the mine produced silver, cobalt, arsenic, bismuth in the 19th and 20th century. There's a source of radium ores and uranium. Since 64 the mine has been used to provide therapeutic radon water. It's run down the water then from the town down the slope to the main spa buildings to 13,000 years old. Imagine bathing in that. I think the mines are like the oldest operating mines now in Europe after I think it's the Velichka mines in Poland closed a few years back. Hammers, I think from the hammer and sickle sign. The steps of the workers leading up to the mines themselves. These are the mat housing steps actually leading up. So I think got the fencing and stuff there because they're the watchtowers where they would have been watching the workers. The Soviet soldiers watching the workers, the Germans and Czechs going to and from mines and collecting the water. I think that's the tunnel there. Don't really get inside there. It's part of the museum. It's well and truly closed up. You got the watchtowers still well preserved. I don't know how clearly you see it on the camera, but fencing along the way there. Pozor. Tracks there from where the carts had come down from the mine. I think that's the entrance there. With the rocks, metals, UNESCO heritage site. You can actually go into the mines from looks at it there in the picture. Looks like coral. The old silver coins, thalers, and bellows, and go up and down so you can pump the air and make it hotter. I didn't realise how small they are. A lion. Got white before. Almost like a stamp. Presses. Notice how they got much larger over time. Actually had to bash them in. Must have been tedious work. How much more sophisticated to get and how much more relief there is. Like 3D. These as well. It's like the chocolate coins you get at Christmas. I'm guessing this is how many were in production year after year. How many been produced? 18,000 in about 17 years. Just the horses go around, I think. Horses and the workers turn it around. Get the shit out of me. Oh, these are all the trinkets and vases and stuff that they use the radium and other radioactive metals in. See, it glows like green. There we go. Phosphorus. Yeah, 1949 to 61. Trials going on. Prague on the Charles Bridge. It'll be marked. Obviously they're around the uranium. So must have got sick from that, as well as the appalling conditions, sanitary conditions. Some of the barbed wire fencing. Map of the camp itself, bird's eye view. I'm guessing nothing really remains of the camp than what we saw earlier. Thousands. There's something true. No gates, so long come out of World War II, only to be annexed and taken over by communist government, Soviets. Some more of the uranium glass vases, which glow in the dark. Uranium spas back in the day. So ordinary bathtubs, lying in the bed. God. Devices to drink it. Radon activated water. One of the old bathtubs here. But it glows in the dark as well. And doctor's paraphernalia. And this must be the original furnace mentioned about in the plaque at the front of the building. The bellows again, and some kind of crude tongs. Must have been a lot of injuries back in the day. Can imagine the heat coming from it as well. There we go in. I think there's a fire in 1873, so I think a lot of damage was caused by that. And this is the Radium Palace itself. I don't know if you can get any further.